If you're a TikTok user, you may want to brace yourself. The recent TikTok hearing was nothing short of insane. Here's everything you need to know about what went down. TikTok has been under fire from the US government for a few years now. There's been talk since 2020 about whether the app should be completely banned from America. For a social media app, it has certainly stirred up quite a bit of drama in its time. But just recently, in March of 2023, there has been a new wave of anger coming from the US Congress. They want to ban TikTok for good. The hearing with the CEO of TikTok just occurred, and users are worried. Let's take a look at what happened. First off, do you know the reason why there are calls to ban TikTok? The reasoning behind it is a lot to digest. If you've been keeping up with interest trends since the early 2010s, you would know that TikTok was once a completely different app. Before, it was owned by its current CEO and given a whole new purpose. It was an app called Musical.ly, and it was a huge part of Gen Z's life. Basically, everyone on the app would make short videos of them dancing or lip-syncing to a popular song. The whole point of the app was for people to have fun mouthing the words of songs and trying out new dances. There were even a few users who had massive followings and ended up leading successful careers. It was a lot like Vine in its popularity and user base, but there were longer videos and more limits to the type of content being made. Although the two apps were very similar in the ways that people went viral on them, they both turned random people into big internet stars or viral memes. Vine died in 2017 when competition with other social media apps got tough, and was bought out by Twitter. Soon after, Musical.ly faded in popularity. It was considered cringeworthy to use the app, but then something completely unexpected happened. In the same year Vine was shut down, a Chinese company called ByteDance Technology Company bought Musical.ly. They had an app functioning exclusively in China that was doing well, and it was pretty similar to Musical.ly. So they decided to merge the two apps, and soon after, it was launched worldwide and called TikTok. With its similarities to Musical.ly plus new features introduced by the team at ByteDance, users around the world fell in love pretty fast. The app first gained popularity in 2018, but the real explosion of TikTok culture was over the course of the pandemic. People were sharing their lives, hobbies, creative projects, and funny stories all in a few short clips. It also became a place where Gen Z and beyond could raise awareness of social and political issues, especially ones that weren't being covered or talked about enough in regular media. The app became a staple in our current pop culture, and the effect it had on society was really crazy. But soon enough, word got out that the company that owns the app was possibly selling user data to the government. Pretty wild, right? It was made public that TikTok collects a lot more data from its users compared to other social media apps. Plus, it was suspected that they were selling information to the Chinese government and would sell it to other tech companies to say they could target their audience better.
And you want someone in France to see it, just by definition, it has to leave the United States. Otherwise, the world cannot see it. Now, there are certain aggregated and anonymized data sets that's useful for interoperability, for advertising, for example. Right. And that is part of what we're talking about.
Kind of mind-blowing, right? Well, the American government was having none of it. When this story first broke in 2020, there was a lot of talk about potentially banning the app permanently in the US. Of course, we know that didn't end up happening, but it wasn't for lack of effort. Fast forward to current times, and multiple countries have either permanently banned TikTok or have temporarily blocked it from use. Since the start of 2023, there has been a push to ban the social media app in America once again. This call has been pretty controversial, considering almost every teenager is constantly on the app. So naturally, there was a lot of protest among users of the app. But eventually, a new bill was proposed. If passed, this bill would either heavily restrict or completely ban American users from TikTok. Shocking, right? But that's not all. Recently, there was a hearing with the United States Congress and the CEO of TikTok. They discussed the app and its potential threats to American society. And honestly, things got pretty wild. Here's a basic rundown. The hearing started with some members of Congress talking about the dangers of TikTok. They laid out all their concerns, ranging from the highly targeted algorithm to the experience of kids on the app.
Or some artificial intelligence algorithm that has inordinate power to subjectively combine strategic data with strategic audiences to shape whatever thoughts and news they want.
They even accused the company of allowing the Chinese Communist Party to steal and buy American users' information. Yeah, they were not holding anything back. They expressed their concerns for American kids and teens who use the app, saying that it promotes unhealthy behavior such as eating disorders and self-harm. They also talked about how the app shouldn't have access to its users' locations, especially when the app isn't in use. All these thoughts are reasonable enough, but some of the claims from the members of Congress are based on outdated information or opinions rather than facts. For example, anyone who uses TikTok will tell you that there's some wild stuff on there, including some things that are not safe or ethical, like eating disorders or suicide references. However, that doesn't usually interfere with the way people use the app. And for the most part, you can use the app for years and never see anything crazy like that. Regardless, the issues congressmen had with the app were laid out. It was then time for CEO Shou Zi Chew to speak his truth. But what shocked almost everyone when watching the hearing was one specific detail. Throughout their time explaining their grievances with TikTok, the members of Congress who spoke were cutthroat. It was almost aggressive in the way they spoke about these issues, which is kind of understandable, but it just made it even funnier when the CEO of TikTok spoke, because he was so incredibly polite. He didn't sound angry or upset. Instead, he calmly and respectfully explained that Congress's views on the app were not founded in truth. It was honestly kind of funny to watch. After hearing members of Congress angrily state why this app is harmful to kids, Chew was nothing but kind and explained everything so calmly that it was just perfect. The thing started to amp up. Congress then moved on to asking Mr. Chew a few questions about the app, like whether certain political messages that the Chinese Communist Party was against are censored on the app, which, by the way, they aren't. Another question they asked was whether TikTok sells user data of Americans to anyone, specifically communist or big Chinese corporations, or if kids have uncensored access to content on TikTok that could be harmful to them. Mr. Chew was so patient when providing his answers. With each answer he gave, Congress would ask the same question 3 more times. They never seemed satisfied with his answers, potentially thinking he was lying or not telling the whole truth. This seemed to be the case when he declined to provide exact numbers on the revenue TikTok gains or of the data they collect. Speaking of, if they ban TikTok in America, everyone involved is going to take a huge hit. There are thousands of people, including Americans, who use TikTok as a means of employment, whether it be influencers who monetize their content, or tech agents working to improve the app behind the scenes. This ban could actually have some pretty serious consequences. But anyway, that was how insane the TikTok hearing was. What do you think? Do you believe the CEO and think that TikTok is harmless to its users? Or are you skeptical and think it should be banned for everyone? Whatever you may think, you can't deny that the hearing made for some highly entertaining content.